Alright, hey everyone. So, this is my second episode of D&D stories, as the first one got 14 views. Not so much an actual reception as I'd hoped, but at least it has a response. But maybe I figure a little bit of a gimmicky thing to maybe try and gain some traction. So, I'll try something. This is my helmet. Deus Volt. I'm just gonna do this until I can't take myself seriously anymore. Alright. So, story begins. And this is technically my first campaign that I ever ran by myself. We were chilling, my friend Mark, my ex, my friend Carlo, he's a lit guy, and one of her friends. She was alright. But we were chilling and we were playing first edition D&D. Chainmail. It was awesome. But, unbeknownst to me, I didn't know hardly any of the rules. I only have the player's handbook for very first edition D&D. And so I build basically this dungeon and the start for a campaign. Well, this is what I like to call the Spider Queen fiasco, starring, oh god, Stygander, the Incredible. Stygander happened to be my friend's character, which he made. He made a halfling fighter with a greatsword. It was lit as fuck. Well, me as a shitty DM, I basically asked him to kill his character off because I didn't realize that fighters just kind of were that. But not before this whole thing takes place. Well, we're going through my campaign this first evening, and I have him go into the dungeon. There's spiders and shit everywhere. It's really cool. There's pitfalls, there's spikes, there's miscellaneous bullshit loot, and because I had them all start at level 1, nobody knew how to use their spells, and I also couldn't exactly help them because I was not, I'm still not spell savvy, to be fair, but I definitely wasn't there. However, I made this character who was a mini-boss. It was basically, she had giant spider stats, about quarter CR of the actual spider goddess. But it was really fun. And, like, 3 of the party members got kidnapped, and I had to, like, pull them out of the session in between. And then eventually we get to it, and there's 3 egg sacs and like a 4th one that was a miscellaneous one that ended up getting them, more spiders would spawn out of it. It was really fun. Anywho, fight ensues, and Stygander is the one who doesn't get kidnapped. He ends up throwing his fucking greatsword through a spider, and somebody else catches it because nat 20s. And the party died. All in one session. One session. The party died all except Stygander. Good times. Well, my campaign came to fruition, and it was only Mark who played Stygander and my friend Carlo, who played, I believe, a drow named Michaelis? Anywho. Okay, I can't do this anymore. Not for the rest of the video. half the video maybe. And if it ends up being popular, might continue it. Not this time though. Whew. Okay. And Michaelis. Michaelis was this drow, or moon elf, who, they got along back and forth. I had another friend at the time who played with us. His name was Max. He tried to make this, like, really edgy, I think he was, like, a half-orc, but he was, like, a rogue, and then I think he tried to multi-class in a ranger or some BS like that. Anyway, party stack was not good initially. And I had gone through breakup in that time, so my ex was also out of the question to end up playing with us because things didn't end on good terms either. A little bit of personal information. Anyway, we continue through the campaign, and some of my other friends end up actually adding to the group. They're like, hey, so I hear you're having a campaign going on. Wouldn't mind joining up. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, certainly. So we end up throwing them in. We have this map that actually I had initially hand-drawn, and one of my friends basically put into a image creator to where the, I believe, 8 parts of the map, which I had created, he collectively assembled them and made them just one big map because he was like the map holder for the group. It was really cool. And eventually people just ended up either not liking this campaign, which I had initially run, or they died and they didn't want to play it again because they just didn't have another character. They didn't like the way the campaign was going, and they saw really no point to jumping back in midway. Whatever. Well, it ends up dwindling back down to the original 2 party members, Michaelis and Stagander. Stagander had died, and we got a new party member. She was a Tabaxi, I believe. I think it was a chick character that Mark played the second go-around. Anyway, but that's besides the point. We end up, campaign goes on, and it's really cool, and we're almost at, like, the, this climactic ending in which I had, tried to script really, not so much subtly, but more so it could end in war and the fight of your life, or you end up discovering something that I put there, but it's more in a secret area. Well, the party comes across this cult thing, and they were supposed to fight the cult, basically. Stop the summoning of Maglubiet. Well, they didn't. They waited outside the whole time. So they summoned him. All the cult members died in the summoning because it was like soul for X thing. And then he's on the material plane just wreaking havoc as they're running away. They get into a couple fights, and one of them that they got into was in this thicket with 3 hordes of rats, or swarms, depending on which thing you look at. It was really fun, and they didn't like it because even though these are like quarter CR creatures, they get 2 attacks. They get technically multi-attack, but I only allowed them 2 attacks each. And eventually they just fucked off. It was funny. And so I'm like, so where are you guys going? And they point to this like weird region of the map, which coincidentally is where I hid that good secret ending. And I narrate for a bit after they enter the party, after they enter the town. It's a ghost town, and they see this ghost town, no one's there. They can't access any buildings, they can't see anyone. However, there is a lady who knows what's going on. And she points them in a direction to follow. And they do so. And eventually it leads them up this invisible staircase. And the invisible staircase ended up taking several sharp turns, and one of them coincidentally ended up killing one of the two party members. And I was like, that's it. That's your character. That was the end of it, because this is the end of the campaign. And it happened to be Mark. He was like, oh, okay. But at the top, I basically made it to where it was this character's, like, dream realm, where he could have gone back to the material plane. But essentially, I made it from the Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven. There's a sign on the wall where all that glitters is gold, and she's finding a stairway to heaven. When she gets there, she knows if the stores are all closed, she knows she can get what she came for. And, like, I was dropping hints at this kind of the whole run. I really wanted it to be kind of that fantasy with a little bit of, like, that, I don't know. I wanted it to be a lighter campaign for that first one because, me personally, I'm kind of a rough DM. I'm like, hey, welcome to Dark Souls, bitch. It sucks. But it's fine. It's fun, actually. I do not mind killing characters off, and I don't mind doing that to my friends, mostly because, for the most part, they understand. On occasion, they don't, and you know what? It's fine. We usually solve it out in the end. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and Deus Vult.